So today we will take you through a very wonderful journey. We are all learning. Emotional intelligence is not a subject which is a finished product. It's a journey. Okay, it's a journey. Lifelong, we keep learning. I think there is no age for learning. I constantly keep learning. That's what life is all about. So, in simple words, I always so interesting. I see an ad in the TV, especially which comes in TV, the Britannia biscuits, which has started very recently. The ad about the cookie biscuit. There is a lot of chocolate inside, and there is a Swamiji who sits and says that past is history, future is mystery, life is only in the here and now. So enjoy the biscuit. So that's a beautiful ad which I keep on, nourishing it because it really talks about what life is all about. In simple words, we are alive, we are breathing, we have goals. Isn't it amazing? It's really amazing. We are breathing, we are alive, and we have goals. That itself gives us a new energy in terms of, achieving our goals. Now, in simple words, I always, give my credit to my gurus because people who have taught me. I always need to, we should show the gratitude to gurus. And my teacher says, life is what happens to you when you are creating your plan. I repeat again, life is what happens to you when you are creating your plan. So that's what life is. So if you see, it's very, very simple. We are complex. In fact, we are, complicating in terms of, what life is all about. What is past? Experiences, emotions. You have emotions and feelings, you have experiences, and you have learnings. That's what the past is all about. And what is the future? Future is nothing but planning. We constantly keep planning, and that is our motivation. And what is present is the here and now where the life exists. So the entire life exists only in the here and now. And the past is your lesson, the present is your gift, and the future is your motivation. I think if we are very clear about these three, I think life is very simple. And unfortunately, in all my programs, I've come across people saying that, sir, I have a motivational issue, I have a self-esteem issue, I have a confidence, self-confidence is very low, and it can go on and go on. The list can go on. But what I can understand is biggest gap of a human being is what you know and what you do. Are you taking steps to really bring in a change? That's something very important. If you're not bringing a change, the problem always remains. Now, I will start today's session with 4 or 5 quotes. We always start our session with some quotes, and these quotes are very close to our heart. And today's quote is like this, it starts like this: love is 100% participation in life. Love is 100% participation in life. Know that one you love will be taken away. Know that one you love will be taken away from you. Know that if you love, your heart will be broken. Also, know that everything you hold dear is changing and is impermanent and will die. I repeat this quote: love is 100% participation in life. Know that one you love will be taken away from you. Know that if you love, your heart will be broken. Also, know that everything you hold dear is changing and is, in fact, this impermanence is also will remain. It will constantly change and it will die one day. The second quote: fear is beyond anger and acts as withdrawal towards protecting self. I repeat again: fear is beyond anger and acts as withdrawal towards protecting self. Fear
Uh,
is good.
so sorry for interrupting. Can you just repeat the phrase again? I didn't get it. It was too fast.
No issues. In fact, I will do one thing. Shamila, right? Shamila, what
Yeah.
I'll do is after the session is over,
Okay.
I'll put it in the group, all these codes.
Okay. Good. Good. Right. Will do.
So that you don't have to take trouble. Just listen to me now.
Okay.
Okay, don't worry about that. I will put it in the group.
Okay.
I think you're also in the
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
group.
The
I will
WhatsApp
put
group.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can take it from there, and that will take you forward. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Fear is beyond anger and acts as withdrawal towards protecting self. Fear is good so long as it does not paralyze you. Fear is good as far as it does not paralyze you. So it's good to be fearful, but the fact is you have to act. You can't only keep on saying that I'm having fear, I'm having fear. It can only create anxiety and anger. That's what happens. Love is not just an emotion. I repeat, love is just not an emotion. It's a decision to share all the emotions with one person. When you are sharing all your emotions with one person, the love is complete. Last but not the least, there is an old phrase which says, try and try until you succeed. I repeat, there is an old phrase, try and try until you succeed. I will tell you to tweet a little and allow me to respond and rephrase this. Try and try creatively and differently each time by being flexible till you succeed. We are all told just to keep try, correct? Till you succeed. But I am rephrasing and fine tuning this whole thing. Try and try creatively and differently each time by being flexible till you succeed. Flexibility is creativity and adaptability. Flexibility is creativity and adaptability. So these quotes are so good. And if you can read it every day and practice it, most of the problems are not being, seen as a big problem. It can be very, very, reduced to a very, very, very minimal problem and it can be solved. So I can think of, two very good examples, I thought I can probably take you through this. First, I will tell you uh, three important universal truth. There are three important universal truth. I'm sure that there are many truths, but these three important truths has really, been very close to my heart. Wherever, whichever country you are living, whether it is India, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, this truth will always prevail for a human mankind. Number one, nothing is permanent, that things are constantly changing all the time. This is the first truth. Whichever country you are living, it's okay, but continuously impermanency is happening. There is a change which is happening. We always expect that there has to be a permanency in life. It does not happen. Now, I'll tell you why we are talking about this in a subject like emotional intelligence. Unfortunately, we don't realize that when an event happens, we get completely, clueless, don't know what to do. So that is where, before going to the theoretical aspects, I'm putting the foundation for you. Because this is the foundation which you should understand in totality about life. So it becomes easy. Because what happens is many of you must have gone through many programs when they teach you emotional intelligence as a theoretical subject. But if you don't understand life in totality, the gap always remains. So many people they say, okay, sir, ये सब अच्छा है, it's all nice. This is nice to hear. But somewhere when the actual situation comes, we are not able to manage it. So the first universal truth, constantly everything is changing, and we need to understand that impermanency is happening. The second universal truth is impermanency causes suffering. This impermanency causes suffering. And the third universal truth, there is no independent self. One can think of ourselves as an independent self, but that's an illusion. It is not about who you are, it is about the process of becoming and bringing more into a relationship to this world. I repeat, the first is impermanency, which is happening. The second is the root cause of suffering is this impermanency. And the third, there is no independent self. It's all an illusion. It is not what you are. It is what the process of becoming and bringing forward in a relationship to this world. So every day we need to reinvent and rediscover ourselves in simple, very, very simple, short sentence. We cannot sit back and say, I'm fine. I don't want any change in life. The change is inside, but we look for the change outside. So more we are able to adapt to the new changes, more we become wiser with more wisdom. Okay. Now, before we get into the subject, I would like to talk about two stories. And I always start my program with some interesting stories. And this story is something very, very, very interesting. And we had a guy called Bala. I mean, one is a story which probably I think it can be a fictitious character. And the other story is related to my own experience in the corporate world. So the first story is there was a gentleman called Bala. He's a brilliant chartered accountant, extremely good in his work. He has got all the acumen to complete his work in time. Brilliant. Everything is fine. But the problem is, although he is brilliant in his work, he always has certain challenges when it comes to managing oneself. Two things you will see come across people who are extremely skilled, talented, excellent functional knowledge, but when it comes to their own self, there is a big gap in them. So this gentleman Bala was doing very well, and it so happened that one day a new manager joined the organization. So when a new manager joined, and he is a chartered accountant, he has his own team, and he's a very good worker. He has got promotions, is a very bright student, top achiever in the corporate world. And it so happened that the new manager was going through the induction process. Induction means he was getting inducted into the company. So he was spending more and more time with every employee. He was spending more than half an hour with every employee. And finally, he got the chance to meet Bala. And when he met Bala, Bala was also well prepared. He knew what to talk, because after all, in an induction, what happens? It's more about the cultural factor. It'll be more about the functional job. Everything will be discussed within the framework. But this man was very curious about personal life, office, and politics. What is happening inside the office? Where is the politics and everything? So when this was going, the whole thing started collapsing. The whole dialogue between Bala and this new manager started collapsing, because he was asking, are you married? How many children you have? And lot of personal questions. And it was going more and more deep, and Bala was not ready for this. And the final nail in the coffin was when the new manager told Bala that, I don't know who made you a top achiever. I don't think you are worth that. He made a loose comment like that. And that triggered Bala, who has been working in this company for almost 16, 17 years. And Bala just came back to his cabin and immediately put down his resignation. A man who has worked for 15, 16 years could not take it and immediately put down his resignation. When he put the resignation, then what happened? Automatically, he said, I will get a job outside. I don't want to work with this company. And he left. And company tried to retain him, but he was very adamant, I'm not going to join back. After 4 years, the HR manager of that organization suddenly one fine morning remembered his birthday, Bala's birthday, and sent him a greetings in the morning saying that wish you a very happy birthday. And Bala was stunned. I mean, he was already not in the system. He has joined a new company. The journey has started there. And he was really, literally tears in his eyes that somebody from the old organization remembered him. So then he called the HR manager, and there was a small dialogue between them. And the HR manager said, "Are you happy in the company where you're working?" He said, "Although I joined, I'm not happy because the culture, everything is different, and I am not able to adapt to the company, and I'm facing some serious problems." So, what made you to walk out and walk in there? That was the question asked by the HR. He said, "I don't know. In a momentary, that particular time, I just could not take a new manager asking some very personal questions and also telling me that you are not a good achiever." And that really, made me triggered, and I resigned. So many decisions in life are taken emotionally. We take decisions emotionally, and then our cognitive mind starts working. By the time it is too late, because you have already taken the decision. So, my dear friends, never take a decision when you are emotionally upset. You can go back to your cabin, you can take a break, you can take 24 hours, but take a decision once your mind is calm and you are in a position to come back to the normalcy, and then you take a decision. This is very important. Second, I'll tell you one more story and then we'll go to the theoretical aspect of today. This story is also very interesting, and this happened with me, my own, I would say my own experience. When I joined an organization, I don't want to name the organization for confidential reasons. I don't want to, Now, when I joined an organization, I had a very brilliant entrepreneur with whom I was working, who was the chairman and the CEO. And we used to recruit people, and we used to grow, and we used to make, we used to get branches stabilized everywhere. And it so happened that he wanted to recruit few people, and he wanted the best of the talent. He said, "I want the best talent who are very good. I don't mind, hiring some of the best talent who have got excellent job skills, everything, and whom I would also like to work." Imagine a chairman saying like that. "I don't mind working under them. I want such an employee." So I had shortlisted a lot of people. I searched from various companies, and finally I got from a multinational company, a few multinational companies, and one guy. I was personally very impressed with him because I had taken some round of interviews with him, called him to my office, and I was very highly impressed with this person. And I had a favoritism and bias towards him, and I was pushing him. So when I told my chairman that I want to, want you to see him, he said, "No issues. Call him on a Saturday." And he took the biodata, and he was waiting for him. And this guy came in. And I also briefed him what to speak, what not to, because I want this guy on board. Because I have taken the all the pains of interviewing him, finding the skill sets, and a lot of bias towards him. What happens is there is an emotional liking for him. So now after this, then I had already decided on him, and I even when he came to my office, I had briefed him what to speak and all that, and he went into the room of the chairman. There was a discussion for half an hour or so, and then he came out. The first question I asked was, "How was the interview?" He said, it was on dot. It went very well," and then he went away. After 5-10 minutes, I entered the room, and he was seeing the biodata, and he has got a rating sheet, and he was rating. I asked chairman that this guy whom you met, have you selected him? He said he's a reject. The chairman said, "I have rejected him." And I had a deep shock because you see, here comes self-awareness. We are talking about emotional intelligence. We are coming into self and social awareness. I had almost closed on that person. I was very confident that this guy is going to get selected, right? So there is an ego which is blocking me, and felt that no, I know my selection. I cannot go wrong. And I'm also looking at the social awareness because I thought whatever I know about him will also be appreciated, and the same way the chairman will also see. Now, what happened? The chairman had I said, I would like to discuss why you rejected, because I was hurt. Somewhere I was hurt because I had that ego that, my self-awareness is very good. And he said his functional knowledge is bang on, is absolutely good. His communication skills, which I am personally liking, because I give more rating for communication skills, that is also he has passed. But the third area, which I asked him was, this is a learning for me. He asked, what is your hobby? He said, photography. So when he said photography, he said, is it your passion? From hobby, he moved to passion now. He said, I'm extremely passionate with photography. The whole questions started going into photography now. He stopped asking much about the functions. He started asking him, what do you know about lens? What is the length you should maintain when you're taking a camera figure? How will you, if a photograph is given to you, how will you, edit it? How will you do that? And a lot of questions on photograph. What was the first camera used, which in the moon to take pictures? What? So many questions. He could not answer a single, and not in a proper way. And that put him off, because a guy says that I know functionally very well. He says everything. But when it comes to passion, when he asked this question, he could not answer a single question in the way the chairman expected. And then he decided that it's a reject. Now I asked more that, what are you looking for a candidate? He said three things, and that's a learning for me. Trust me, all my interviews are moving towards that direction nowadays. And if you ask me to go by traditionally, I will go three things you should look for a person: initiative, there has to be a drive, and there has to be a passion. How will you find a passion? It's quite difficult to find a passion. Everybody will come and say, I'm very passionate. The only way to find out passion is take the biodata and ask for hobbies. And hobbies, you can go. Then, lastly, I asked him one question: why did you select me? Because you have also gone through the process the similar way to me. And he said, you took the rating sheet. You opened the file, you took the rating sheet and just put it on the table and say, you yourself see it. I used to play table tennis and I was very good in table tennis. And I've represented junior state level. So I had a lot of passion for table tennis. I used to play table tennis. And when I said that I used to play table tennis in my interview, he has asked many questions about who was the world champion, everything, who are the players. Can you name some players who are world champions? Which country has won such a, and which have answered well. And that was the selection process. The whole idea of this story is as the first one, never take an impulsive decision. Number one. Number two, we always assume that we are self-aware. There is a lot of assumption. I know everything. I know my strengths. I know my limitations. I know very well about the other person. So small story, but lot of learning. The learning is that it's a journey. That day has become a change in my life, that I don't concentrate only on the functional skill of a person. Honestly, today I'm compromising many areas when it comes to recruitment, because I've become very flexible, because otherwise you can't get candidates. But if you ask me to go with the traditional path of recruitments, I think very, very few people will really make it to the last cut. Okay. So self-awareness, social awareness, impulsive, decisions are absolutely a journey. You should not take impulsive decisions. Okay. I hope I have been able to, put it. And what is emotional intelligence? Being aware that emotions can drive our behavior. Yes, this is what I was trying to tell you in simple language. Impact people positively and negatively, learning how to manage those emotions, both our own and others. See, the day there is a harmony between head and heart, your emotions will be under control. The head and heart should be in harmony. That's the only thing which can bring you calmness. We talk about emotions, we talk about feelings, we don't practice. Whatever be the situation, you can practice. So being aware, there has to be an awareness that emotions can drive our behavior. Many times it drives your emotions and impact people positively and negatively also at times. People become so restless because of emotions. And you need to read that. If you can read, your social awareness will improve. You will also know what makes you angry and what makes you sad. And learning how to manage those emotions, both our own and others. So it becomes easy for you. There are some myths. There is one more thing I will talk about myth today. Myth is not false. There is, there is this Western way of looking at myth is false and this is reality is true. In a country like ours, myth is always a subjective truth. If you go by the mythology, myth is always a subjective truth. Any dialogue you want to have on emotional intelligence, let's understand there are common myths, there are subjective truths about emotional intelligence. That's why the subject has a theoretical aspect. The reason for a theoretical aspect is you cannot always rely on subjective truth because there is always a collision. There is a collision, and there is a colluding factor which will happen that some will say that no, this is right. Some will say this is wrong, and it'll go on and go on. So the subjective truth about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence does not really exist. Number one, emotional intelligence is all about only empathy. That is the second subjective truth. We can debate on this. Some will say no, it is not. Some will say yes. So there is no true or false in this. Please understand this. It's nice that we look at objectively, but sometimes you need to look at subjectively also. You either have it or you don't. There is no dark side in emotional intelligence. That people can debate on this. But some people say, yes, there is a darker side. Imagine somebody is very smart in understanding your emotions and feelings. They can play with it. This can happen in relationships. Trust me. It can happen between husband and wife. It can happen between parents and children. Because over a period of time, they come to know their own mindsets and they can play with it. So they can show lot of empathy, but that empathy may not be true just to get their work done. So that's one way of. So theory says there are dark empaths also. So there is a darker side also. It does not influence our decision making abilities. There is no correlation between emotional intelligence and physical well being. More emotional people are natural, more emotionally intelligent. Emotional intelligence is equal to meditation. Sharpening your emotional intelligence is very easy. Now, all these points can be debatable, but we have understood that if you go by the research, and if you go by the models, if you go by the theories, it has a deep inner meaning that this is a subject which is a journey. Many people take certification, fine, but our contents are very well researched, and we don't believe in just delivery. We walk what we talk. If we are talking, we walk. That's why we have been able to get global audiences. So we do the programs in such a way that it you know is deeply going into their system and they understand, because we believe that knowledge should be in your muscle. Otherwise it's a rumor. Because somebody says, I have searched Google, I have understood, and it's not knowledge, that's an information. So we believe that the knowledge is getting into your muscle and it is everywhere. That means you are absolutely knowing the facts. Okay. So this is how whatever programs we do, we resonate and we try to make it as simple as possible so that it is absolutely well connected to people, because we are in the space of holistic human development. You are not the voice in your mind, but the one who is aware of it. Realizing that is the first step to becoming emotionally intelligent. You're not the voice in your mind, but the one who is aware of it. What you are thinking, what are your beliefs, what are your emotions which is running inside. If in a day, every minute by minute, moment by moment, if you are aware of what's happening around you, trust me, you will have no physical issue. You need not have to sit and do meditation. Meditation is very good because it cleans the mind. Because the way we clean our body, we clean our system, meditation definitely cleans. But if you are self-aware, awareness is very important. You need to be aware around you, the environment, what is happening outside, and also what is happening inside. Imagine something wrong you're seeing, something which is definitely triggering you, and you actually feel like reacting. And then you check inside what is happening inside. Then what happens? Then you will be responding. You will not be reacting. You will be responding. And that is where the true emotions are there. So when you are responding, you will know how to manage situations. So they call it as when you respond, you will be involved. See, we have to live our life by flowing. We have to live our life by flowing. We are living our life with attachments. That's why I talked about that quote. Love is an attachment. We are loving with attachment. We are not loving without attachment. That's why we find it difficult. But what happens is, it's like when you're flowing in a river, the true emotions are you will respond and also you will be involved. So responding and involvement are very important. Then what happens? The head and the heart are in sync and in harmony, which is the true emotion. So if somebody says, this is positive emotion, this is negative emotion, I beg to differ. All emotions, whether it is positive or negative, are two polarities. This is one side of polarity, and this is another. There is nothing called a positive or negative. If you have to see the light, you have to go through the tunnel. Imagine you enter the tunnel, it is dark only. But if you have to see the light of the other side of the tunnel, you have to go through the darkness. So when sun comes, we feel so good. But we know that moon will also come, the night will also come. We should be prepared for both. I hope you are getting me what I'm trying to say. You have to go through both. So it all starts in your mind, rational and emotional. Rational mind is only 1/10 which is visible. That's what I'm talking about. We are talking about the true story, the story which I told you, the self-awareness of the recruitment which I did. I'm talking about almost 15 years back. So probably I would have recruited better now. That time, the emotional intelligence was not being taught as a subject by us. But that day I realized that there is something which is above us and which is very important. And then the realization came in 2018-19 that this is a subject we will take it and we'll go very deep and research on it. So abilities, cognitive, intellectual, logical, analytical, rational. If you see anybody, you will see at that level only the interaction will be happening. They will talk very, very, we always say, very sensible person, wise person, clever person, very, very intelligent. It's all intellectually we are seeing. And you say somebody talking very logical, oh, wow, very rational. But the emotional mind holds 9/10 of us. If you see the iceberg, self-awareness, empathy, motivation, self-confidence, leadership, social skills. This have to come out of the surface. That's why leaders are not looking only the rational mind now. They want to check their emotional mind. Because leadership, it is very important. See, you may be very good in your functional skills, no doubt about that. You may be extremely good in computers. You may be very good in managing many things. See, a lot of women who are not working, who are homemakers, they manage the family so well. How? Emotionally, they are intelligent. They're trying to understand They understand them as a mother. They play their roles. Imagine she's a working woman also. They play their roles. As an office, when she goes to office, she is different. As a mother, she is different. As a wife, she is different. So the roles are important. So it all starts in your mind. Learn to manage your mind. Otherwise, mind will create havoc. It will create chaos in you. I hope you're getting me. It will absolutely create havoc. So there are four quadrants of emotional intelligence for personal competency and social competency. The first one is self awareness, where I gave that story to make it as simple as possible. I was thinking that he's the right candidate because I have interviewed, I saw his strength. And what I saw in the strength, his functional skills. I was not aware he doesn't know anything in terms of passion because there's no passion. He says photography, but he doesn't know anything about photography. You may be good in your job, but your passion will reveal everything. Because if what is passion? Night 2 o'clock. If I tell, please get up from your bed and do this, you jump to do that, forgetting your sleep. That's passion. What you do when you have time is a hobby. Imagine somebody says, I'm a good painter, singer, dancer. That's a hobby. Suddenly, I have some time on Sunday. I have 2 hours for me. I'm doing some painting. That's dance. That's just managing yourself. That's a hobby. But if you say passion, if you use this word passion, what drives you? So, self awareness, you should know your strength. You should know your passion. You should know your strength and what drives you. Imagine somebody says photography or a painting or a football player or a cricketer. You should know everything about that sport or about that art. Otherwise, you are just faking and you will get caught. Self management drives strength, comfort, time management, leadership. So many aspects are coming into self management. Most critical is time management. Drive strength. I was talking about drive strength. Passion drives you. But the first quadrant will decide whether you can go to the second quadrant. Because first quadrant, know your strengths, know your limitations, see what is your internal strength. Also see what are the emotions running in you. Internalizing is sometimes better than intellectualizing. Internalizing is sometimes better than intellectualizing, in simple words. So, if you are aware, I think I would suggest all of you, all the participants, go home today and write 3 strengths and 3 limitations of yours today. You will know. And also see, just think of some experiences and see what happens to your emotions. You can write down what makes you angry, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. Please write this. That will give you an insight. And then comes social awareness. If you are very good in this, you will know what feelings and emotions are running in others, what are their passions, what motivates them, what drives them, and everything about the other person, how they will do the job. Are they going to fit into a culture? Are they the right match for people who are looking for a marriage, for a relationship? Emotional intelligence is very critical. If you know yourself, then only you will be able to know the other person. Otherwise, it's again a subjective truth. You think that you know him, that's okay. But trust me, there are some married people who are married after 30, 40 years also, they don't know each other. They're just talking, they're partners. They don't know each other. That's why divorces happen. Okay. And then comes relationship management, social awareness. You are able to figure out, you can imagine and you can relate that what feelings and emotions are going through, because emotions is more of physiology rather than internal. The body will reveal everything. Body will never lie. So you have to catch the minute things, whether his palms are sweating, whether his hands are shivering, or what is his face from here to here, from here to here. It has to be in a straight line when somebody is speaking. It has to be a straight line. What he is speaking has to be straight. His breathing, what is his eyes, which is the mirror of the soul, his breathing pattern, his entire face, everything you can read, whether he is lying or not. And that helps you to know and read his emotions also. You can also read. Sometimes you can ask, somebody is having a very, deep, very shallow breathe, sometimes very deep breathe, fast breathing. You can ask him that, are you traveling or you are having some, are you coming, even in phone also you can ask, are you disturbed now? Can I speak later? You can also, if you're physically there available, it is all the more easy to read. You can ask the right questions to people. That is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. And then you will be able to manage your relationships. So emotional intelligence helps you to understand your attitudes and values, projected to others, your sense of identity and worth, your own identity, how you look at yourself. What are the egos which are blocking you in terms of defense mechanisms? Why and how we behave in a certain way? What drives us? Need for power, influence, or affiliation. So we do tests when we do the introduction to, this is just a curtain riser. When we do the basic program, we have two levels, basic and advanced. We take you through many tests. And trust me, many people have been immensely benefited who have done our certification programs. This is our flagship program. Last 3.5 years, we must have done more than 22 to 24, EI certification programs. And many people have been extremely benefited, whatever be their field. They can be in the corporate world, they can be a teacher, they can be a professor, they can be a trainer. They have been immensely benefited. So attitudes, values, identity, work, how they behave in a certain way, what are the reasons, how do they bring a change in themselves, what are the areas where they require feedbacks. All these things can be easily found out when you do this. Let's take this practical example. You just had a heated argument with your spouse.
Sita, you're on mute.
Yeah. Sorry, I think got suddenly. I'm so sorry. So you just had a heated argument with your spouse, throwing just words and hurling insults at each other. You decide to go out for a walk to think clearly about what happened. You bump into an annoying neighbor who is always nosy and has an irritating voice that you can easily trigger you. I'm sure that such incidents keep happening. When you are already in a bad mood, you come and meet another person whom you hate. You are still tired up for the argument and you had earlier with your spouse, and you are aware that your anger and resentment is not related to your neighbor being nosy and irritating. You rationally decide to calmly greet your neighbor, thus deciding to be emotionally intelligent and not be a bad past event affect your current relations. Quickly switching over. You had a fight with your wife and there were some heated arguments. It can be any reason. There is one more thing, you have to, when you're dealing with people, there is nothing called difficult people. It's all, these books they want to sell. That's why they write how to deal with difficult people, how to manage difficult people. There's nothing like that. Everybody is nice, provided you believe that. Yes, what is difficult is when it comes to managing them. So you don't have to say, so what happens, I'll tell you, when you start telling in your mind, difficult, it automatically becomes difficult. Imagine you meet a person, there is a judgment made by him because of the past events and experiences you have already judged, and you will always look at difficult. Now, this is a practical example. How you can switch over is quickly look the positive aspects. Okay. The problem is with wife. I can't show that bad mood to the person, although I am not in a good relationship with him, but still I can calm myself, bring with the awareness. Here, the awareness is very important. He actually brought the awareness in this, calmed his mind, and then spoke to him, greeted him, so that there is no unnecessary relationship issues with that person also. So that's what is very important, how quickly you are able to manage and balance. So that's what I said, harmony. Harmony is nothing but the head and heart should work together. It has to work together. Otherwise, it's a problem. Head is speaking something else, your heart is speaking something else. This is a very normal thing which happens. Imagine you don't like to do something, you enter the boss cabin and you say, yes, sir, I will do it. And then your heart says, no, you should not be doing it. It's a problem. That's where we will talk about this in our certification program. There is a big chapter on communication, compelling communication, where we talk about assertive communication. So many times we land up when we enter a boss cabin, we say that, yes, everything is possible. Your head is saying something, your heart is saying something. So the moment you say yes, that is being taken as an S, and then you are in trouble. Learn to say no often with boundaries, including family. Okay. Just got back home from an exhausting day at work. Your boss is narcissist and bullies you every day, thereby making your life miserable at work. And you are frustrated, want to quit, but don't know how you come back to your loving family, who is the midst of prepare, help them up the table for dinner. You are pissed off and yell and shout, saying, for goodness sake, it is enough already. I'm very tired. Why don't you two of you just do it on your own? Your emotionally intelligent partner, instead of getting upset, asks you to go to bed and take rest till the dinner is ready to be served. They understand your emotions and know the right things to say at the right time. This is what empathy and compassion is. Another important tip, if somebody is coming from outside, immediately don't jump to talk to them because we don't know in what mood they are coming. Give them that space, that boundary, and then speak. Let them take rest, especially when they come from outside. We don't know what environment they have faced and what problem they have faced. So, small tips how to manage relationships. Just be calm for some time. Give them the time. Life is very simple, if you ask me, and life is beautiful. Self differentiating others with boundaries, one side, self differentiating others with boundaries, and self including others with boundaries. One, self excluding others with boundaries, and self including others with boundaries. So simple life. We should not complicate it. It's a beautiful life. Okay. So if you do not regulate your emotions, it can lead to breakdown of nervous system, breathlessness, can create insomnia, disruptions in relationships, lack of direction in life at work. Trust me, there are only two things we have to keep doing for becoming emotionally intelligent. Only two things. Read your thought always. What thought? Your own self thought. Second, whenever the thought comes, observe your breath. If you create a problem here, if the breath is not matching with your thought, your whole physiology will be in trouble. Trust me. Your entire physiology will be, because all the chemicals will start reacting. Now, God has made a wonderful, amazing human body. Even doctors cannot find out certain things, how it works. But we are spoiling it. We are actually damaging it every day. That's why you see, you age also. If you have Your thoughts are going heavy. You're not able to manage your emotions. Your physiology is suffering. Many people at the age of 45, they look like 85. There are people who have completely white hair, and you will get stunned. What is happening? Because they have not managed. See, some people age very fast. It's nothing to do with genetical. It is something to do with they have not managed their emotions well. They have not managed their life. In other words, in simple words, they have not managed their emotions. So it affects physical. Second thing, sleep, sleep, sleep. 8 hours is important. Today, everybody is roaming around with insomnia because of mobile phone. Trust me, I I kept my phone one day off, and I felt so good. Nobody was able to contact me, nobody was able to tell me that I am, why have not you replied or why you have not done that. There was a lot of peace in me. So social media and mobile has also become a problem. Insomnia, please sleep. Disruptions, it will definitely create in relationships. There will be lack of direction in life and at work. So if your role is important in a family, which can be the bread earner, it can be anything, you need to take care of yourself first. And then comes the family. As the air hostess says, first you put the oxygen mask and then put for others. She always says in the plane, you put your mask and then put for others. So she's not saying that you first put for them and then put for you. You are important in this whole journey of life. Please take care. How does emotional intelligence help us have uncomfortable? It can help you to have uncomfortable conversations without hurting feelings. Manage your emotions when stress or overwhelmed. Manage your emotions. That's enough. Even somebody is trying to talk nonsense. Accept, accept, accept. Don't have to react every time, even if they are talking nonsense. Either you avoid them or don't react. Respond when the time comes, when you get the time to respond. Improve relations with people we care about. Resolve conflicts. Coach and motivate others. Create a culture of collaboration. Build psychological safety within teams. So, when you are able to create a psychological safety, maybe everybody is talking about psychological safety in the corporate world today because power politics has become a big problem, especially post COVID. The magnitude has increased because everybody is worried about. See, the COVID has taught two things: how to be compassionate and how to look for how to treat people equally. There is no rich. The COVID did not say who is rich and who is poor. It attacked everybody. Compassion, empathy, what it is, God showed. Second, how to manage your mental health. But what has happened? Genetically, human beings, if you see, we are selfish. We want us, that's okay. Whenever I say you take care of yourself, that doesn't mean you are selfish. If you are taking care of yourself only, you can take care of others. That is the reason. There is a difference between self-caring, self-attending, self-concept, self-motive. There is a big difference. If you're taking care of yourself, you'll be able to take care of others, in simple words. But what has happened after COVID is the whole corporate world, not only corporate world, everywhere we have to search for people who are empathetic. People have lost empathy because people became fear. There is a fear which has come. Oh God, this can also happen to the universe. So let me hold on everything to myself. So actually, God wanted to teach you something, but we have learned something else. So psychological safety is very critical. If the mental health is gone, everything is gone. Your physiology will also get affected. Trust me on this. Are emotionally intelligent people sensitive or sentimental? Yes. What is sentimental? Looking for happiness outside. Constantly look for happiness outside. And there is a lack of flexibility on many areas. The study shows that it has got sentimental is more and more looking outside for everything. Your happiness is related to something happening outside. Whereas If you're sensitive, you are curious, you are caring, also you are detached, you are flowing, also you know that you go and help, but you don't attach that event to yourself. There are people who help in need. They come out and help, but it is maybe because of various reasons. But that doesn't mean that they have to be attached to the event or attached to that person. So sensitivity is very important of any role. Imagine somebody is met with an accident. Today, people are afraid to even touch that person because of police case and all that. The sensitivity is important. If somebody takes that boldness, takes the person in the car, reaches to the nearest hospital and help him, at least to save a life, that is sensitivity. And sentimental, always getting emotionally vulnerable, disturbed, because your happiness and everything is related outside. If somebody doesn't listen to you, you are unhappy. If somebody doesn't do what the way you want, you are unhappy. If somebody tells you something, you are unhappy. So it continues and continues and continues. And slowly from neurotic, you will become a psychotic. And what is one more thing I can tell you today is always use affirmation models with people. What is affirmation? Yes, whether it is children or your partner in life or even your subordinate, you'll always have a pat and say, you can do it. You can do it. Trust me, you are becoming a psychotherapeutic force. Imagine you always criticize people, you become a psychopathology case. You're moving towards pathology. What is pathology? Psychopath, toxic, narcissist. You're moving towards a dark dimension of a person. So psychotherapeutic is very, very important. So this is what I want to say. The sentimental and sensitive always keeps going. Research has found a link between high emotional intelligence and improved health includes lower blood pressure, reduces risk for heart disease, healthier weight, better sugar levels, and longer life. So if you are able to manage your emotions well, whatever be the situation, we cannot give excuses saying that this is the reason I am disturbed. That is the reason I'm disturbed. No, I will always manage my situation in the best possible way, and I will be calm in my own interest, which will help me to focus internally and externally also. You will live longer. Yes, unfortunately, this emotional intelligence subject has to be taught at the age of 5 in schools, compulsory curriculum instead of all the subjects. A day will come because now already, a lot of companies are talking about an important skill in the coming years. The school will also have to use this as an important subject as a curriculum in the coming years. So I think this is something, do you have low emotional intelligence? A person with low EQ will likely have emotional outbursts, typically out of proportion to the situation at hand. People with low EQ also have difficulty listening to others. Becoming argumentative is another example. Some people keep on arguing and they will always blame others. And overly sensitive will lead to sentimental. And also EQ cannot understand how others feel. Some people cannot understand, how others feel or anything, Then the empathy is lost. Difficult maintaining relationships and friendships. Because I'll tell you what, trust me, empathy is not going down. If you show empathy to somebody, it's not that your ego or your identity is going down. It's a wrong thought, a wrong conception. More you are empathetic, more you are growing actually. Smile genuinely at people. Genuinely, if you smile at people, it's an energy you attract. And when you are smiling genuinely, people will come to you. Automatically, they will come to you. Trust me on this. I have practiced this and I've seen this. Yes, there are some people, even if you smile, they don't smile. Don't have to assume that something is wrong with them. Oh, I should not smile anymore. There are some, people who are very bad. That's all our own thoughts. Life is short, beautiful, excellent. We should live happily. And happiness, I can tell you today a very nice definition. Evolutionary psychology says genetically, biological wise, and cognitive wise. If you see the psychology and biology, the evolutionary psychology says that we always set goals. Animals don't have goals. Animals live to survive. Human beings are tuned and blessed to have goals. The moment a goal is achieved, there is a happiness. You feel happy that my goal is achieved. But that goal is also short lived because the next goal will start now. The moment the next goal starts, the happiness goes away. So you have to manage your happiness within the two goals. So I think emotionally intelligent people can do it. Calmness is important. Resilience is extremely important. Empathy is very important. And I'm sure that in our, our certification programs, we will have a very detailed analysis. We'll have tests. We will take you through the complete journey. And I would suggest all of you to join and really take the benefit of our certification courses, which is coming very shortly to all of you. Thank you. Thank you so much.